I'm Brad Van Auken. I'm president of the Harvard Business School Club of Rochester. And this is actually, it started out at least, as a part of our normal programming for our club. We spent this past year, and we kind of do the 2006-2007 year, focused on taking Rochester into the 21st century. So we had a lot of really interesting topics where we saw what was going on in renewable energy and photonics and all the emerging industries in this area. We got to see those companies and what they were doing. We thought as the culmination of our programming year that it would be fun to do a topic on the branding of Rochester. And as we got into it, more and more people said, gee, I'm interested in this. And so we finally decided, we invited like some, there's a number of people here from the Johnson School Club, Cornell's Johnson School Club. I see some of you over these lights. And ultimately, we said we need to open this to the public because this is something that's of interest to everyone, and we've got such a great group of panelists that how could we keep this to ourselves? So we're delighted that you're here. I am basically going to introduce the folks on the panel. I'm going to briefly share the results of the survey that was done online. There was an online survey at adhub.com. Just out of curiosity, how many people here took that survey? Well, it looks like about at least 60%. Well, it depends on how you heard about this event. Some people heard about it in different ways, so some of you might have heard about it. But anyway, there was a survey, and I'll share the results of that. Then we're going to go right into the panel discussion, and we will have time for questions. So listen carefully and gather your questions. So I am going to start at the furthest table from me and introduce Todd Butler, who's the president and CEO of the Advertising Council of Rochester. Todd's a native of Rochester and has lived here all but a few years of his life. Before assuming his current role, Todd served in marketing positions in a variety of industries. Most of his career was spent in the nonprofit community. For instance, he led the marketing efforts at the Seneca Park Zoo and Genesee Country Village and Museum. When not in these roles, he worked for advertising agency Wolf Group, which is now Partners in Napier, the Harrisburg Patriot News, Harris Interactive, which I'm sure you know, one of the largest and fastest growing market research firms. And Todd lives in Greece, New York with his wife, Andrea, and their 3 children. So welcome, Todd. Next to Todd is Carl Carbolata. He's the Commissioner of Economic Development for the City of Rochester, and we're happy to have you here. And I spoke with him briefly, and this is the second panel he will have been on today, among many other things. So I told him he's warmed up. But Carlos is the Commissioner of Department of Economic Development, City of Rochester. His mission is to provide a business-friendly culture in the City of Rochester that will maintain its business base and welcome new enterprises to the area. He has a long litany of professional and volunteer efforts. He was previously the director of M&T Bank and M&T Corporation and the president and CEO of First National Bank, Central Trust Company, and Citizens Central Bank in Arcade, New York. He's currently the chair of the advisory board of M&T Bank. He's on the board of directors of the Rochester Midland Corporation. He's chair of the board of directors of AAA Western and Central New York, and on the board of directors of AAA of New York State. He was on the New York State Board of Regents from 1978 until 1999. Throughout much of the 1990s, he was chancellor or chancellor emeritus of that organization. He is or has been on the boards of numerous nonprofit organizations, and he's received numerous civic awards and honorary doctorate degrees from 4 universities. So welcome, Carl. Mark Cuddy is the next person on our list. He's the artistic director of Jiva Theater, and I have Jiva Theater Center. And I have to thank him. Jiva Theater Center donated this space for this evening. I'm going to go through the sponsors, but several organizations donated things, and he donated the space. So thank you. He's in his 12th season as the artistic director of Jiva Theater Center, where he directed many, many plays, including Our Town, Tuesdays with Maury. I'm just curious, how many people here are Jiva Theater season ticket holders? Whoa, that's pretty impressive. So you know all this. Splitting Infinity and Vigil, last season, A Chorus Line, Hamlet, and the American premiere of That Was Then in the 2004 and 2005 season. He's well known for his staging of premieres. Those of you who are been involved in the theater, you know that he's done a lot of premieres in contemporary commodities and musical theater. Among his Jiva Theater Center productions have been the main stage and next stage productions of Convenience, which was a world which was a world premiere musical, 1776, Proof, the world premiere of Thornton Wilder's Theophilus North, boy, I can say that. I went to Harvard, right? Which was also seen at the Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. The Miser, the East Coast premieres of both House and Garden, Quilters, Art, Famous Orpheus, which is a world premiere musical with Garth Fagan Dance, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor with the RPO, Golf with Alan Shepard, Picasso, on and on. Anyway, he's done lots of plays. And if you haven't seen Urinetown, you have to sign up and see it. And they will be, are they loud? Because they will be starting partway during our program. Anyway, thank you. Eliza Kozlowski, who's the Director of Communications and Visitor Service for George Eastman House, International Museum of Photography and Film. Eliza is Director of the Communications and Visitor Services Committee at George Eastman House. Actually, not committee. I'm on her committee. That's why I say committee. At George Eastman House International Museum of Photography and Film. And she's worked there since 1990. She's currently the chair of the Public Relations and Marketing Committee, that's PRAM, of the American Association of Museums, and serves on the boards of Art Walk and the Susan B. Anthony House. She is an active member of the Greater Rochester Visitors Association and was presented with the I Love New York Award for Cultural Tourism Promotion in 2004. A graduate of St. Lawrence University, she was the Rochester Business Journal 40 Under 40, a graduate of Leadership Rochester, and an Athena Award nominee. So welcome to Eliza. Bill Murphy, going over to the next table here on the other side of the screen, is the Vice President of Communications for University of Rochester. He has been the Vice President of Communications at the University of Rochester since March of 2006. So he's a newcomer to our community. And Bill and his wife, Lamar, moved here from Columbus, Ohio, after careers spent largely in Illinois. Bill has held leadership positions in communications at Ohio State, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and the University of Chicago. He's led the graphic identity campaigns for Rochester and Illinois. Welcome, Bill. David Thiel is the CEO of Origin. He's the co-founder and chief executive of Origin Communications, a brand-focused interactive services firm based in Rochester. In addition, he's the founder and president of locally based online retailer BetterCoffee.com. So check that website out. Having moved to Rochester for college, he avoided the brain drain to stay through his 20s and settle in Fairport with his wife Vita and 2 boys. David is an active participant and booster for the quality of our community, serving on several local boards. Mixing it up in local politics and assisting with other entrepreneurial ventures. David is a graduate of the University of Rochester, earning degrees in biology and English in 1995. He graduates from the MBA program at the Simon School this spring. Congratulations. And Heidi Zimmer-Meyer is the president of the Rochester Downtown Development Corporation. She's currently the president of that organization, where she's held numerous positions over the past 23 years. Since 1994, Ms. Zimmermeyer has also held the position of district manager for Downtown Special Services, the charitable not-for-profit corporation that operated the Downtown Guides program and now operates the soon-to-be-launched Downtown Special Services program. She sits on the Rochester City Planning Commission, the Rochester Police Chiefs Council, and is vice president of the New York State Urban Council. She also sits on the board of the Rochester Area Community Foundation, Rochester Convention Center Management Corporation, Rochester Education Foundation, and the Commission Project. Welcome, Heidi. Okay, so that's a lot of bios. So let's get right into the meat of the topic. You're here because you want to hear about branding Rochester. Does everyone know what branding is? That's a good thing. So first I want to thank our sponsors, the Harvard Business School Club of Rochester, Brand Forward Inc., which was my company, Jiva Theater Center. Each of these donated something for this evening. The Mirus Group actually created the graphic for Branding Rochester. Ben and Jerry's, the panelists will be happy to know, donated some gifts for the panelists. The Blake Project and AdHub.com.